Most of you looking at this screen will be thinking, wow, things are going really well and we're on a great run, and at the moment things could not be better. But I don't, because at this moment I'm really concerned about complacency. Hello and welcome back to FM22 with Old Man Phil. And most of you who have been following me will know that we're currently involved in a save with Newport County. But today's video is a little bit different, and we're going to be looking at something that I don't think I've ever seen discussed on any forums or even mentioned in terms of relevance. But it's in the game, and therefore it must be relevant. FM22 is just a puzzle, and there are many pieces to this puzzle that you have to figure out, and this area is one of those pieces, and it's the area of complacency. I have visited so many forums and groups where this has given rise to allegations that the game cheats, it's rigged or scripted. I've even heard very good players of FM calling it just being FM'd and that the whole thing is pointless. But it's not true. What's happened is you have overlooked this small piece of a very complex game. It usually takes the form of teams falling into a really bad run. They have been beating everyone, but suddenly a loss to a team much lower down the league leads to this horrid run of defeats. It's not cheating, you just got complacent. And it has happened to me many times in the past, but I've stopped it happening now. You don't need to let this happen if you just know how to read the red flags that you're given. So when I see this screen, or this one, then for me that's not anything other than a red flag. And we're going to use my current Newport Save to look at where these red flags are and what you can do to prevent problems occurring. So the best thing to do is to start with Season 1. And if you look at Season 1, August was absolutely phenomenal. And we didn't lose at all in August. In September hadn't gone too badly at all. We'd won 3 games out of 4. We'd lost against Leyton Orient, and the other unfortunate defeat was against Manchester United in the Carabao Cup third round. So we'd lost 1 and won 3, so we were still doing really well through September. And then in October, we would start off okay in October, but then came what I call the double draw syndrome. And this is a big red flag. This is where things are starting to go wrong. So Bristol Rovers now became a very big game for me. And it was a game which you have to think now in terms of not about winning, but you have to decide, I don't want to lose this game, because if you lose it, you're going to go into this really bad run, and that is going to upset everything. Your morale's going down and everything is going to go pear-shaped from that point on. So Bristol Rovers I identified as a game I must not lose. It doesn't necessarily mean I must win, but I must not lose it. Bristol Rovers we won against, and so things moved on, and we then in November picked up 3 wins, and then we had in November another double draw syndrome, which made Wickham a not must win, but a game we must not lose. And then we beat Wickham, and went on another fairly nice run where we won 3, but we'd lost 2. We lost to Leyton Orient again, and I still can't figure out how they managed to beat us. And everything was going okay until we got another double draw syndrome. And again, that made Scunthorpe. We'd lost against Portsmouth, but that wasn't a big deal. This double draw syndrome then made Scunthorpe a game which we must not lose. And we didn't lose it. We got a 1-1 draw, and then we went back on a nice little streak, coming into February. After February, things took a turn for the worse. That is not to do with complacency, though that's another issue which I have to find a way to deal with, which FM have introduced this year, which is to do with fitness. And the more you press teams, the harder your players are going to find it, and the season really fell away. We're not the best in terms of stamina or natural fitness, and it got to the point where I had another double draw syndrome at the end, which made Rochdale a game I must not lose. I only needed a point anyway at that stage, and we did eventually go on and win the title. So why was August, though, all clear in terms of all wins? Well, that's because I identified Tranmere, who were lounging around at the bottom, and I identified Tranmere as a possible red flag. So that became a game that I must not lose, or I must not draw. And there was a danger if I did nothing in this game that I would go into a bad run of form. But we changed a few things, and we managed to win that game, and we didn't go on that bad run of form, which I was dreading. Okay, so let's move to the current season that we're in, and we switch to this season, and things are looking absolutely fabulous yet again. We were lucky in fixtures. We had a home fixture against a poor Crew team, and we beat them. We also had to play Bristol Rovers and Salford, who were newly promoted, so fixtures had been kind to us. But we're playing in a very positive way. We weren't going to lie down to any team. We managed to get a result. And then we went away to Blackpool, second favourites to win the championship, and we got a very creditable 3-3 draw. And the whole town was buzzing and everybody's happy and social media's full of, wow, what a performance. And I then decided, right, okay, let's have a look at this performance that they're all buzzing about. And I'm not too happy. I can see Lakin in midfield, 6.2. Brown, 6.6. Sweeney, 6.4. Norman, 6.4. Pask, 6.4. Dimitru, 6.6. In fact, very, very few people played well at all. And it was only like Danny Williams coming off the bench, getting himself a 7, who actually changed the game and managed to get us an equaliser with his assist to Nuttall. And so I'm looking at that thinking, I'm not impressed. And this, for me, was a really big red flag. And when your defence starts playing that badly, or your attack starts playing that badly, you know that you're into complacency. And so the next job was to find out, after Blackpool, who am I playing? Well, I had Bristol Rovers in the Papa John's Trophy, and then Shrewsbury. I didn't really care about Bristol Rovers in the Papa John's Trophy. I feel I don't want to be in that competition. And so basically I rotated a lot during that game and actually came out with a very creditable 3-1 victory. And that should be a red flag in itself in terms of the next game in the league, Shrewsbury. Shrewsbury I identified as the next part of the complacency issue after Blackpool. And if we take a look at Shrewsbury's team, then basically there's a big red flag too. They are set up to counter-attack, and they're going to soak up the pressure and then probably launch a long ball somewhere near to their centre forward at the end of the game, and they would score and win 1-0. This was a big, big red flag. They are set up to want me to attack. Now, if I look at their strengths and weaknesses, it's a very short list of strengths and the biggest list of weaknesses that I've ever seen. But I did manage to identify that they're pretty crap at everything, except their goalkeeper is in the most inspiring form of his life, and they have a good right back. Now, I'm not going to make huge changes to the way I've set the team up. I believe I've set the team up right, and they know how to play in that way, so I can't make massive changes to what I want to do. So I decide to make subtle changes. And what I'm going to do is they want me to attack. So I'm going to keep my line, which I normally play as in a balanced position. I'm not going to play a high line and give them the space to exploit behind my defense. I'm going to play my left fullback in defense, and we were going to attack on the right hand side. I also, because their goalkeeper's in such good form, cut out all the long shots and wanted to work the ball into the box. And those were really the only changes that I actually made, very subtle little changes, except that we were going to play in a balanced way so that we were not going to get caught with our trousers down and have this late winner against us. And that was the plan. But the most important thing is that I made 5 changes to the first team. And so the thing is, how do you know what players to change and who to bring in? Well, you've got to look at form. That's the first thing that you've got to do, is go to the form and have a look at who let you down the most. And I identified that the midfield let us down in that Blackpool game much more than the defence did. The attack was fine, so I had to focus on changing the midfield, which is what I did. But who comes in? I use form and current training performance, because there are players in your team who want to be in your team, and you'll find them because they will be the ones who are performing well in training. They want to be in the team, they're going to be performing very well in training. So I went to training, identified who's having a good time in training, and I brought them in. And as a result of those changes, this is what happened. And before sending them out, I was able to give them the team instruction: go out there and impress me, because those boys wanted to impress me now. And instead of saying to the team, this is a game we should win, which would put extra pressure on them. So now these boys were absolutely doing their best to impress. They want to be in the team. They demonstrated that in training, and boy, did they put on a show for me. And we eventually ran out comfortable winners in this game by 4-0. And just a quick look at the boys who we brought in. We brought in Thomas as an attacking midfield, and he scored 7.6. We brought in Sweeney in midfield, and he scored 7.3. Kane at DLP, he scored 9. We brought in Norman, and he got 7.3. And Dimitru also came in, and he got 7.5. Those boys worked their socks off. Did I avert a catastrophe, a disaster? I don't know. What I do know is that I won the game 4-0. Having identified it as a problem fixture, I went on and won it by 4-0. I also am not seeing anywhere these bad runs of form which follow the double draw syndrome. And, I'll take that run of fixtures any day of the week. I'm going to continue doing what I do and combat complacency in the team. And so, complacency and how to beat it. First, identify those fixtures where teams are in the lower half of the table and you are in that slide in performance. And it usually takes the form of a double draw in your fixtures. And then secondly, once you've identified it, then you have to make subtle changes to the tactic that you're using. Not big changes, but just little subtle changes that will be a little bit different, and you'll have to look at the strengths and weaknesses of the opposition to find what those are. And thirdly, once you've done that, then you're going to have to make changes to your personnel in your team, and I will go to training to find who those people will be. They will be the achievers in training. They want to be in your team, and put them in. Give them a run out. And finally, I would suggest just take a more balanced view rather than thinking that you're going to go out there and whip their ass. Just take a balanced view between attack and defense, and be patient. And you can tell the team that you have faith in them, and be patient, because the result will come. And you'll then have to be patient yourself. And that's it for this video. If you enjoyed it, give us a big thumbs up and do all that subscribe stuff to help the channel grow. And why not check out our Newport County Save and follow us as we go along this journey. And I'm sure that Season 2 is not going to be a roller coaster ride. And we're not going to be sitting at the top for very much longer. We're playing some teams coming up who are going to attack us, and we're going to have to take the rough with the smooth. But at the moment, things are running well, and we are flying high. So hopefully I'll see a lot of you there. And all that remains to be said now is thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.